The prompt pixel floated gracefully in the center of a vast, shimmering digital void, her purple glow pulsing with the rhythmic beat of 1,000 potential ideas. Her large, expressive eyes blinked with excitement as she prepared to unveil the Master Prompt Blueprint, a collection designed to empower teachers everywhere. With a flourish of her silver digital wand, a cascade of stardust transformed into a gleaming library of structured commands, showing how a single container of text could unlock the vast intelligence of the machine. This journey was not just about technology, but about finding the perfect words to ignite a student's curiosity and simplify a teacher's busy day. Did you know? A prompt is a specific set of instructions given to an AI to guide its output toward a desired goal. Penny zoomed through a forest of data, her tiny floating white hands adjusting the parameters of a translucent control panel that hovered in the air. She explained to the observing educators that the secret to success lay in the single container prompt, a method where role, goal, and constraints are all tucked neatly into one package. By avoiding messy, multi-turn conversations, a teacher could get exactly what they needed in one single leap of logic. Penny's silver wand hummed as she demonstrated how to bypass conversational fluff, creating a direct bridge between a teacher's intent and the final classroom resource. Did you know? Single container prompts reduce AI hallucinations by providing all necessary context in one initial message. For the youngest learners in kindergarten, Penny crafted a special enchantment designed to unlock the magic of reading through simple sounds. She waved her wand, and the prompt appeared on a floating slate. Role is kindergarten literacy coach. Goal is to create a 5-sentence decodable reading passage focusing on short vowel sounds, and constraints include using only simple CVC words. Penny watched as the stardust formed words like cat, sat, and mat, creating a safe and structured environment where a child's first steps into literacy were met with immediate success and confidence. Did you know? Decodable texts help build foundational reading skills by focusing on specific phonics patterns students are currently learning. Math became a playground of possibilities as Penny focused her purple light on the world of numbers and cardinality. The teacher prompt she revealed was simple yet powerful. Role is kindergarten math specialist. Goal is to generate 3-word problems where students count playground objects up to a sum of 10. And constraints involve using cheerful language and whole numbers. As Penny spun around, the virtual classroom filled with digital red blocks and swinging sets, proving that even the most basic arithmetic could be turned into a vibrant story that children would love to explore. Did you know? Cardinality is the understanding that the last number counted represents the total quantity of the set. Penny knew that high-frequency words were the keys to the kingdom of fluent reading, so she designed a prompt to help first graders master them. The digital instruction read, Role is Grade 1 Reading Interventionist. Goal is to generate 5 practice sentences using Dolch sight words, and constraints require highlighting the target words in capital letters. Penny's silver wand left a trail of shimmering purple dust across the sentences, showing how a blank line at the end of each thought could provide the perfect space for a student to practice their developing handwriting. Did you know? Sight words are frequently used words that children are encouraged to recognize instantly without sounding them out. In the realm of mathematics, Penny showed how to compare quantities using the power of logic and clear framing. She displayed a prompt where the role was Grade 1 Math Curriculum Designer, and the goal was to create 3 comparative word problems using simple objects like apples or toy cars. Penny ensured the constraints kept the total under 20 and included a textual guide for a horizontal number line. With a snap of her floating hands, a digital number line stretched across the room, providing a visual path for young minds to follow as they learned who had more and who had less. Did you know? Additive comparison problems help students understand the relationship between 2 quantities through addition or subtraction. Penny understood that every student learns at a different pace, so she introduced a prompt for differentiated lexile scaffolding. The role was Grade 2 Differentiated Learning Expert, and the goal was to rewrite a passage about honeybees at 2 distinct reading levels, on-level and emerging support. Penny's silver wand glowed brightly as she adjusted the vocabulary density, while keeping the core facts about the bees identical. It was like a magic trick that ensured every child in the classroom could learn about the wonders of nature, regardless of their current reading level. Did you know? Differentiated instruction involves tailoring teaching environments and practices to create the best learning experience for each student. To make the abstract concept of place value tangible, Penny turned to the power of analogy and domestic objects. She presented a prompt for a grade 2 conceptual math teacher with the goal of describing two-digit numbers using bundles of 10 sticks and single ones. The constraints suggested using a household analogy, like juice boxes and individual cans. Penny's silver wand flickered, and suddenly the air was filled with packs of juice that made the base 10 system easy to visualize and even easier for a 7-year-old to understand and remember forever. Did you know? The base 10 system is the foundation of our number system, where each position represents a power of 10. As the complexity of math grew, Penny introduced the concept of factors and matrices through visual arrays. The prompt identified the role as grade 3 math innovator, with a goal to create multiplication word problems based on rows of stadium seats. The constraints focused on the 3 and 4 times tables and required an ASCII text grid made of asterisks to represent the rows visually. Penny tapped her wand against the floor, and a grid of purple stars appeared, turning a difficult multiplication problem into a beautiful pattern that was impossible to forget. Did you know? An array is a group of objects arranged in equal rows and columns to help students visualize multiplication. Penny put on a tiny digital detective hat as she dove into the world of reading comprehension and summarization. The prompt she shared defined the role as grade 3 reading comprehension coach, aiming to generate a historical passage about colonial transportation, followed by questions about the main idea. The constraints required a detailed explanation for why the correct answer was right and why the distractors were wrong. Penny's large eyes scanned the text, her silver wand pointing out the clues that led straight to the heart of the story's message. Did you know? Identifying the main idea is a critical reading skill that involves discerning the most important point an author is making. Fractions can often be slippery for students, so Penny created a script that made them as easy as pie, or rather, pizza. The prompt set the role as grade 4 math visual specialist, with the goal of demonstrating how eating 2 slices of a 4-slice pizza is the same as eating half. The constraints kept the tone engaging for 9-year-olds and included 3 leading questions. Penny's silver wand drew a delicious, glowing purple pizza in the air, cutting it into perfect segments to show that math is always a part of our daily lives and our favorite snacks. Did you know? Equivalent fractions are different fractions that name the same amount or part of a whole. Science came alive when Penny focused her magic on the water cycle and the mechanics of the atmosphere. She presented a prompt for an elementary STEM coordinator to design a hands-on experiment using plastic cups and ice. The constraints ensured minimal prep time and a focus on student safety. Penny's purple body shimmered as she simulated a tiny rain cloud inside a digital cup, showing teachers how they could bring the power of the weather directly onto a student's desk with just a few simple household items. Did you know? The water cycle describes the continuous movement of water on, above, and below the surface of the earth. Penny decided to take her friends on a shopping trip to teach them about the importance of decimals and financial literacy. The prompt defined the role as grade 5 financial literacy teacher, with the goal of generating a restaurant menu with decimal price points and calculating tax. The constraints required the results to be displayed in a clean markdown data table. Penny's silver wand acted as a cash register, ringing up digital items and showing how every decimal point mattered when it came to managing money in the real world. Did you know? Decimals are used to represent parts of a whole and are essential for accurate measurements in currency and science. In the writing lab, Penny was busy helping students find their voices by creating engaging introductory paragraphs. The prompt used the role of elementary creative writing instructor to create 5 unique genre-based narrative hooks. The constraints avoided any mature content, focusing instead on mystery and adventure. Penny's silver wand spun in the air, creating a swirling vortex of words that pulled the reader into stories about hidden islands and secret digital cities, teaching the students that a great story always starts with a spark of curiosity. Did you know? A narrative hook is an opening that catches the reader's attention so they want to keep reading. Penny wanted to make sure that language learners felt included and supported, so she built a prompt for a multi-tiered vocabulary matrix. The role was K-5 literacy specialist, and the goal was to take a list of words and generate definitions appropriate for English language learners. The constraints included a simple, student-friendly sentence stem for each word. Penny's purple glow warmed the room as she showed how a little bit of extra context could turn a confusing word into a familiar friend for a student learning a new language. Did you know? Tier 2 vocabulary words are high-frequency words that occur across a variety of domains and are central to reading comprehension. Moving into middle school, Penny tackled the world of ratios by designing a mock real estate project. The prompt cast the AI as a grade 6 math architect with the goal of mapping out a bedroom layout using a specific scale factor. The constraints required a table with original dimensions and a blank column for student calculations. Penny used her silver wand to shrink and grow digital furniture, showing how the relationship between numbers remains the same, even when the size of the objects changes in the physical world. Did you know? A ratio is a relationship between two numbers indicating how many times the first number contains the second. The circle of life was the next stop for Penny as she explored the energy pyramids of the natural world. The prompt defined the role as middle school life science author, with the goal of explaining how energy moves from producers to apex predators. The constraints kept the explanation short and used a text-based pyramid diagram. Penny's large eyes widened as she watched the digital energy flow upward, showing how only 10% of energy is passed from one level to the next, leaving a trail of stardust at each stage of the journey. Did you know? An energy pyramid shows the amount of energy available at each trophic level of an ecosystem. Penny dived deep into the ocean to explain the concept of negative and positive integers. The prompt identified the role as grade 7 pre-algebra interventionist, with a goal to track diving depths and temperature drops. The constraints ensured the calculations crossed zero multiple times to reinforce the rules of sign shifts. Penny's purple glow lit up the dark digital sea as she descended past zero, showing that numbers could go both up and down, and that the distance from zero is always a positive adventure called absolute value. Did you know? Integers are whole numbers that can be positive, negative, or zero. History was more than just dates and names to Penny. It was a collection of voices from the past waiting to be understood. She shared a prompt for a middle school social studies coordinator to create a framework for analyzing primary sources. The constraints focused on identifying author bias and historical context. Penny's silver wand touched an old digital scroll, and suddenly the author's perspective became clear, teaching students to look beyond the surface of a document to find the truth hidden within the context of its time. Did you know? A primary source is a first-hand account or evidence from the time period being studied. Penny hopped onto a digital graph to explore the steepness of lines and the rate of change in the world around her. The prompt used the role of grade 8 algebra foundation instructor to generate a tutorial on finding the slope of a cell phone plan's cost. The constraints required two worked-out example calculations. Penny's silver wand drew a perfectly straight purple line across the coordinate plane, demonstrating that for every increase in data, there was a predictable rise in cost that could be solved with a simple formula. Did you know? The slope of a line represents its rate of change, often described as rise over run. In the physics lab, Penny turned everyday objects into powerful tools using the principles of mechanical advantage. The prompt defined the role as grade 8 physical science teacher, aiming to create a lab procedure using rulers and markers as fulcrums. The constraints formatted the report with clear sections for hypothesis and observations. Penny's tiny white hands pushed down on a digital lever, lifting a heavy weight with ease, and proving that science is the art of making the difficult seem simple through the power of engineering. Did you know? A lever is a simple machine consisting of a beam or rigid rod pivoted at a fixed hinge or fulcrum. Communication and critical thinking were the stars of the show as Penny prepared for a classroom debate. The prompt identified the role as middle school literacy coach, with a goal to generate a Socratic seminar blueprint regarding plastic recycling. The constraints included open-ended questions and a participation rubric. Penny's purple glow pulsed as she facilitated a digital discussion, showing how respectful disagreement and deep questioning could lead to a better understanding of the complex problems facing our modern world. Did you know? The Socratic method is a form of cooperative argumentative dialogue based on asking and answering questions to stimulate critical thinking. As the curriculum reached high school, Penny focused on the microscopic world of cellular respiration and oxygen production. The prompt used the role of high school biology curriculum specialist to create a mock data chart for an aquatic plant lab. The constraints demanded advanced analysis questions regarding biochemical constraints. Penny's silver wand pointed to the chloroplasts as they captured digital light, turning it into energy and teaching the students that even the smallest leaf is a complex factory of life. Did you know? Photosynthesis is the process by which green plants and some other organisms use sunlight to synthesize foods with the help of chlorophyll. Logic and structure were the tools of the trade as Penny tackled the challenge of geometric proofs. The prompt identified the role as secondary mathematics evaluation expert, with a goal to design a 2-column proof for a parallelogram. The constraints left the reason columns blank for the students to complete. Penny's silver wand traced the angles and sides of the shape, her large eyes showing the pride she felt in seeing the students use deductive reasoning to prove that some truths are universal and unchanging. Did you know? A geometric proof is a step-by-step explanation that uses definitions, axioms, and theorems to prove a mathematical statement. Penny zoomed through the air at high speeds to demonstrate the laws of motion and constant acceleration. The prompt set the role as advanced high school physics teacher, with a goal to generate word problems about vehicles on inclined planes. The constraints required a separate instructor key detailing vector alignment. Penny's purple glow left a streak behind her as she accelerated, showing how math and physics could predict exactly where and when an object would land, making the invisible forces of nature visible to everyone. Did you know? Kinematics is the subfield of physics that describes the motion of points, bodies, and systems of bodies without considering the forces that cause them to move. In the senior year lab, Penny taught the language of computers by building a statistics script from scratch. The prompt identified the role as high school computer science instructor, with a goal to write a Python script that calculates mean and variance. The constraints forbade the use of external libraries, forcing students to understand the underlying logic. Penny's tiny white hands typed at a speed that blurred her purple form, showing how raw code could transform a pile of numbers into meaningful insights about the world. Did you know? Python is a high-level, interpreted programming language known for its readability and versatility in data science. Penny knew that clear expectations were the key to student success in writing, so she built a comprehensive grading rubric. The prompt cast the AI as a secondary English department chair, with the goal of building a 4-point rubric for persuasive essays. The constraints required a markdown table mapping out explicit performance thresholds. Penny's silver wand flickered as she defined what it meant to be advanced or proficient, providing a roadmap that allowed every student to see exactly how they could improve their rhetoric and documentation. Did you know? A rubric is a scoring guide used to evaluate the quality of a student's constructed response based on a set of criteria. Even when the regular teacher was away, Penny made sure the learning never stopped by creating seamless substitute plans. The prompt used the role of high school instructional technology coach to transform a biology lesson into a self-contained packet. The constraints included a time-stamped timeline and 0 external setup requirements. Penny's purple body glowed with a reassuring light as she organized the day's activities, ensuring that every minute of classroom time remained valuable and engaging for the students and easy for the guest teacher. Did you know? Effective substitute plans ensure continuity of learning and minimize classroom disruptions during a regular teacher's absence. Penny understood that a school is a community, and communication with families is vital for student growth. She revealed a prompt for a campus communications director to convert testing schedules into a warm parent newsletter. The constraints required a welcoming tone, free of educational acronyms. Penny's silver wand sprinkled stardust over the professional email, turning cold data into an encouraging message that made parents feel like true partners in their child's educational journey, strengthening the bond between home and school. Did you know? Parental involvement in education is linked to higher student achievement and better social skills. The digital sky exploded with shimmering purple fireworks as Penny, the prompt pixel, spun in joyous circles, her silver wand trailing long ribbons of stardust that spelled out the number 10,000. This milestone was a celebration of every teacher and learner who had joined Penny on this incredible journey to bridge the gap between technology and the classroom. With a final, graceful wave of her tiny white hands, Penny called for everyone to share the magic of learning, reminding them that together they could continue to inspire curiosity and change the world, one prompt at a time. Did you know? Educational communities thrive when knowledge is shared freely among peers, leading to collective growth and innovation.